Morning YouTube, welcome to another video. Now today I'm at Pulpit Rock on the Dorset Jurassic coastline. This is going to be a quick vlog. It's not midday, although the light is harsh enough that it could be. There's no interest in the sky either, but I thought I'd do this video on the way back from my sunset and my sunrise vlogs, which you've probably already seen at Durdle Door now. I wanted to get out to Portland, have a look at the lighthouse, have a bit of an explore, and I thought while I was here, I'll see if I can get any images that are worthwhile during the harsh light conditions with no interest in the sky. Not something I'd normally shoot, but I'm going to try and get a bit creative to see what I can get out of it. But this is the location, this is Pulpit Rock. Now I didn't realise until I actually got to Portland, or the Isle of Portland, to say that there's actually quite famous stone that comes from here called Portland stone, and it's kind of like a whitish limestone, kind of a chalky-ish whitish limestone that is actually used in quite a lot of famous buildings, the Tower Bridge, St Paul's Cathedral, just to name two of them, pretty much all throughout the British Isles. And it just looks like quite a cool thing. You can actually look at it now and see that it is quite light above it. And it's a really good building material apparently. It's quite long lasting, it gives you this nice white kind of marble-ish longevity to it, I think, where it stays quite clean and white. So it's quite cool to learn that about it, but I've come here pretty much for the photography. Now, I'm not really feeling it, to be honest. I don't like the light. I think it would look an awesome thing if you had some nice sunset, sunrise colours behind it with some really strong clouds and some kind of light and nice colours coming down this water. But we're definitely not getting that at the moment. But still, I'm not going to despair. I'm going to try and get some interesting shots and interesting images from it. Now, I've come down this kind of stone here into a lower down platform. It didn't look very high when I jumped down, but it is actually quite high. You do have to kind of scramble over all these kind of rocks here. I think it's an old quarry to get here. So it's not the easiest place, to be honest, to get to. And it is a bit tricky and precarious when you get in here. But like I said, I'm going to try and do something with this. Now, what I'm thinking immediately when I arrived is that there's no real nice light. It's a bit harsh. The sun's probably in the wrong direction for the rock, although we do have a nice bit of lighting on this side, so it shouldn't come out too well. So it's going to be a black and white conversion here. Now all I'm doing is I've got the 16 to 35mm lens on. I've got 3 filters on here, so I've got a soft grad pulled down to expose the sky. I've got a 10-stop Lee ND filter. And I've also got a 0.9 hard grad. Now I'm using the hard grad pulled all the way down to act as a weak ending. By using the 10 stop and the 0.9 pulled down together, it's given me probably around about a 15 stop ND filter, really cutting the light down on it. And the soft grad is there simply to balance the exposure from these harsh highlights above it, try and get a bit of definition in the sky. Now with those 2 filters on, I am shooting at a 240-second image. I've managed to find my shutter release cable, which I didn't have in the last 2 vlogs. I've got it set up, doing really long exposures to try and get some smoothness in the water, try and get a bit of long exposure, fine arty, black and white type shot. Not sure how it's going to work out yet. Shooting with a 16 to 35mm on, you do need a wide angle lens here, and I'm doing that to make use of these patterns along the rocks here and the water breaking up to the rock, just to try and give a bit of interest in it, a bit of foreground interest and stuff like that. Like I say, shooting with those filters at about 240 seconds at an f-stop of f14. Obviously that is going to vary depending on what time of day you are shooting down here and the available light you have. But at the moment I'm doing those shots. I'm just going to check the image on the back of the camera now. Yeah, I do quite like it actually. We do have, if you can see that, I'm not sure, but we do have quite a nice bit of drama in the water here. These rocks here, I think this one is quite heavy on the rocks a bit more, so I'm probably just going to do a bit of a pano with this and take another shot with the pulpit rock more in the middle of the image there. So I'll just set that up now. I'm just going to ever so slightly tilt it around to about there. We'll go for another 240-second image. Wait until that finishes. After this location, I'm going to fire up some of these images. I'm not going to go into it anymore, really. There's not much else to be said about it. Simply focusing on the rock, trying to get some cool images. Might try portrait as well. After that, I'll be heading up around the other side, and I'm going to try and get some pictures of the lighthouse in this harsh light and see how they come out. So I'll see you at the next location in a minute. We'll get it set up there. We'll see what images we can get in the lighthouse. Second location now for Portland Bill, and I'm actually going to be doing some images of the lighthouse. I've walked along the coastal path a bit from the lighthouse, not far from it, and I've come out on this rock that juts out just to get a bit of a composition of these kind of round stones that are quite covered in seaweed and stuff down here, which I'm hoping is going to make a nice composition. You should be able to see there if I pan you around. And we're looking right up to the lighthouse. It's quite a cool location. It's quite a nice image again, but I'm not sure how well it's going to work in black and white or midday sun, shall I say. I've done two different types of shots here. I've already done them. They are simple shots, but I'm using a polarizer, and I'm not sure what effect I prefer the most. Now, when I turn the polarizer filter on, it makes a massive difference to that sky. It's really cutting out that kind of haze and that light blue, and really bringing out some really deep blues in the water, almost to the point where it'll probably look quite nice in color, this image. So I'm probably gonna do a color image of the one with the polarizer, and probably a black and white image of the one without the polarizer. You'll see some footage that I would have already put up with me spinning the polarizer on and off, so I want you to put in the comments which image you prefer, the one with the polarizer or the one without. Like I say, it probably will be a bit hard to tell, but I will probably do two colour variants, one with the polarizer on, one with the polarizer off, just so you can compare them. And then, like I said, the final black and white probably will at the moment be the one with the polarizer switched off, because I like the fact that it's making the highs really bright in the sky. And I think it'll give us a nice bit of contrast between the lighthouse here and the kind of sea and the rock and the sky. So it's a cool place. It is still a revolving lighthouse, which is always nice to see. I did actually see it flashing away from where I was yesterday when I was doing the sunset shots at Durdle Door. I could actually look from that cliff by Bat's Head right across, and I could see it sweeping. So it's still nice to see. The mechanism is actually turning still for some reason, even though the light bulb is off, so you can actually see it turning as you sat here watching it. Also, when I'm shooting, I'm having to guard the filters here, because I'm getting a lot of strong sunlight coming onto them, and I'm having to hold one of my graduated filter covers just over that, just to block the sun, just to stop it interfering with it so much, because it really is putting some kind of effects and weird sun flares and glares through those lenses and those filters. So I'm having to do that, and I'm also, like I say, doing various degree of polarizing filter to adjust it. Overall, I'm quite happy with it. I'm just simply shooting on the 16 to 35mm, wide open at 16mm, and I'm doing long exposures because I'm also using a 10 stop Lee hard grad. sorry, not grad, 10 stop Lee ND filter, and I'm getting about a 30-second image with that, shooting at an ISO of 100 and around about an f-stop of f16 to f14. So I am getting some nice long exposures down here, and they're working really well. I'm going to fire those images up now. They're simple shots. Let me know which one you prefer. I've got one more composition to do of the lighthouse, and that is one on top of the headland here, which is going to involve some wildflowers. I'll catch up with you over there in a minute. Hope you enjoy these ones, and I'll catch up with you in a few minutes.
I don't know for how long I'll get to hold your hand, to be your guiding light in the darkest of nights. I will try to do my best until the day that I'll die. I won't lie, it's not going to be easy, but I'll try. Don't you worry, I'm not going anywhere. I will stay here, I will stay.
I'm at the third location now, and by far this is my favourite image of the location. I do think that the ones at Pulpit Rock are going to come out quite cool because they're super long exposures, but by far I much prefer the composition I've got here, simply because there is an amazingly high amount of sea thrift and wildflowers here. It's absolutely stunning, the amount of sea thrift that goes along the kind of cliff here, or across the grass by this path here, is really amazing. It kind of continues all the way from the camera where I'm shooting, all the way along this path and kind of up to these stone buildings, and then right up to the lighthouse here. Coming out really nicely. I've done a few landscape shots already, but I just can't get enough of the wildflowers in the landscape shots. Although the landscape shots are nice, you do get a bit of the sweeping view out towards the sea here and along the coast, so you get that from the landscapes, but I much prefer doing this as a portrait image, and it's coming out really nicely, especially using this big clump of flowers which are down here. By doing a portrait and shooting with the 16 to 35mm lens on there, I'm really being able to shoot right down into them, getting really nice shot. Now I'm having to focus stack with this image, simply because they are so close to the camera, and they're not going to be sharp if I just go ahead and do a simple shot. Now I did learn when I was in bed, roof and steps, although I was focus stacking 2 images there, I was shooting at about f11 to f13, and that still wasn't really enough to get the blend in the midground perfect. So I'm shooting with f16 here, and I'm focusing quite close to the flowers, probably about 3-4 feet away from the camera, and I'm also focusing on this barn here, which you can see as my other exposure. Now when I put those two together, hopefully they're going to come out bang on. Should get a really nice image from here. Now I've got the 16 to 35mm lens on, shooting as wide as it will go at 16mm, just to get those cool flowers in here. Getting about an 80th of a second exposure, shooting at f16. The only filter I have on now is the polarizer, which is bringing down that sky quite a lot and making the images really nice. 80th second is about perfect at the moment. We've not got much wind here, so the flowers aren't moving too much, so it should come out really nicely. I'm going to continue doing a few more shots from this location, get a bit more footage. I'll catch up with you back in the van in a little while, go through some of the images and see my final thoughts on the day.
I will try to do my best until the day that I'll die. I won't lie, it's not going to be easy, but I'll try. Don't you worry, I'm not going anywhere. I will stay here, I will stay here. And as long as my heart beats like a drum, then I won't back down. No, I won't back down.
back in the van now, and I've finished with all the locations. Just going to say what an unexpected good result it's been. I'm very much a sunset, sunrise photographer, although if the weather is bad or if there's moody skies and definition, I do like shooting that as well. I'm definitely not a kind of midday photographer. I don't like harsh light. I'm always put off for going out unless I'm going to shoot very specific things like perhaps waterfalls or forests, but it's totally kind of sideswept me really, this location. I didn't think I'd get any decent shots at all. Granted, the shots I took probably would be better in sunrise and sunset, but the images I've come away with I think are going to turn out really nicely. Pulpit Rock I think is going to be a nice moody-ish looking, although there is no definition in the sky, but quite a contrasty image with the drama in the water there. And it's going to be quite a nice panoramic stitch, I'm hoping. Not much height in it. Got a spider crawling down my hat. So that's going to be quite nice. I think the ones of the lighthouse from the coast there is going to add a bit of drama and definition with those round stones, and if I could get closer to them I think it would have turned out quite nicely, but obviously with the tide as it is at the moment that was impossible. And the last image with the sea thrift there, absolutely beautiful, lovely image. I think they're going to come out really nicely. I've been doing lots of focus stacking with those. I've been doing 4 images per kind of 4 captures per image, if that makes sense. 4 different focus stack location, starting anywhere from about 2 foot into the image, sweeping all the way up to the lighthouse, because I want to make sure I get that image really sharp. Yeah, looking forward to how they come out. So it's been a great day. Just goes to show you don't always have to go out in the idealist of conditions light wise to get images. You don't just have to shoot in sunrise and sunset. I'm as surprised as much as anyone that I got the images I did today. So hope you've enjoyed this vlog. Like I say, I'm as surprised as probably anyone. Saying that, I don't know what the images look like 100% yet, but I'm definitely surprised myself how well I think they are going to come out. Thanks for watching this one. Sorry it's been a bit of a long duration one. There's been a few different locations involved with it. I hope you've enjoyed them. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. I'll be sticking some more vlogs up in the future. If you have any comments, please put in the box, and I'll catch up with you on the next vlog in the future.
It's not going to be easy, but I'll try. Don't you worry, I'm not going anywhere. I will stay here, I will stay here.